Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to analyze the second movement of the sonatine by Ravel, Mouvement de Menuet, and we'll see how Ravel transforms this antique dance form using 20th century impressionistic devices. If you haven't watched the analysis of the first movement yet, I highly recommend you do, because there are motifs and certain ideas that link the two movements together. We all know that Ravel is a big fan of the menuet form. He has composed many pieces in the style of menuet, and in this particular menuet, he chooses not to include a trio. Let's begin with the final bar of the first movement. The last two notes are G sharp and C sharp, and harmonically A flat and D flat. And if you reverse the order, you get the first two notes of the menuet. A small detail which helps to link the two movements together. The first two notes are in version of motif X, changing a descending fourth interval into an ascending fifth interval. We can split the first phrase into two subphrases, A and B, and we'll see how Ravel reuses these phrases later on. We can term the first 12 bars as section A, and the tonality shifts from D flat major to F minor with the addition of G natural. Rhythmic accents are shifted around, giving emphasis to the second and third beats at certain points, and the elusive nature of the rhythm contributes to the elegance of the piece. We move into the B section, and we can see Ravel simply uses the opening theme again, slightly modified with different more ambiguous harmonies in the accompaniment. He elaborates on the B subphrase further, bringing the theme down the registers into an E flat 9 chord. The embellished melody and arpeggiated chords are highly evocative of the harp, an instrument Ravel was almost obsessed over. I copied this technique over into my Opus 1 menuet as well, which was heavily inspired by this piece. We go into a restatement of the theme over the E flat 9 chord, with an added pentatonic countermelody in the tenor, and an A flat 9 chord then leads us back into the tonal center of D flat. We can term this next section as B2, where we have a new melody that rises and falls, repeating 3 times, and each time climbing higher, finally reaching an orchestra-like climax. Even here Ravel arpeggiates his chords, which is a nice added detail in the texture. We'd expect the B flat dominant chord to resolve into E flat in the next section, yet Ravel simply shifts the right hand up a semitone and moves the bass in an interval of a tritone to get an E13 chord. The shift in tonality brings a substantial change in color, and this is supplemented by the pianissimo dynamic that Ravel indicates. Now have a listen to this section and try to figure out which theme this is. If it sounds familiar, it's for good reason, because this is simply a slight modification of theme X from the first movement. Ravel even places an augmented version of the theme in the left hand, which goes on simultaneously as the one in the right hand. Theme X is then repeated, eventually dwindling down to the descending fourth motif X. The chromatically altering accompaniment then leads us back into the A section. The return of the A section is back in D flat, but the accompaniment is different, with Ravel actually predating the blues scale by using the flat third and 7th degrees in the first two bars. This is the blues scale starting on D flat, and these are the modified bars. The passage does not modulate this time round, remaining in D flat major. We then go into the B section, which is now in C sharp minor and harmonically D flat minor, and Ravel trails off on the German 6 chord, which then resolves to D flat major in the coda. The B2 theme makes a final appearance to close off the work, stretched out in a slower tempo. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next video, we'll be analysing the last movement of the sonatine, animé, and that will be very exciting. So do hit that subscribe button to ensure that you don't miss out on the next video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.